Alright you guys, I went to Iceland on my 30th birthday trip. I have stuffy nose and sore throat, but I did make a lot of memories. So let's talk about it. I'm sharing my favorite places just so I believe everyone needs to visit Iceland at least once in their lifetime because it's just so beautiful. It looks like you're on a whole another planet. So here are a few things that we did that were my favorites, and then at the end I'm also going to share some weird things about Iceland. So stay tuned for that. So the first thing we did was the whale watching tour in Reykjavik. So we stayed at the capital for 4 days and then we did a lot of local activities over there, and one of the activities was the whale watching tour. It was so cold and it was so rainy that day. So we went on a cruise and there were obviously a lot of other people there as well. You know, we were standing on the terrace of the cruise and it was raining like crazy, and the crew gave us like ice gear as well, like fully Icelandic wear to just help us beat the cold and the rain. I think it was like a 3-hour long tour and we saw a lot of penguins, birds and whales as well. So we saw a bunch of humpback whales and stinky whales, and they were like so pretty, and it was also thrilling as well. People would be standing on the railing of the cruise and be like, oh, I spot a whale at 3 o'clock, 12 o'clock. So then everyone would run and it was like so thrilling, like what would we spot next. I love zoos, so I've seen sea animals in the zoo and whales in the zoo, but just seeing them in the wild is a whole another experience, so definitely recommend that. The second thing we did was rent a car to drive around because I think it's the easiest way to do it. Now for people who drive on the left side, you have to be a bit careful because the driving is on the right hand side, so it does get a day to get used to. My partner Rachit was driving, so I was just like chilling in the passenger seat, but I do recommend a car because taxis are super expensive. Plus I think Iceland is huge and you can make a fun road trip out of it. So what we did is we went to the, let me see if I'm pronouncing this right, it's the Snæfellsnes Peninsula. This peninsula is so beautiful, you feel like you've entered Mars, like with the volcanoes, the waterfalls, the black sand beaches, the Kirkjufell mountain. This mountain is so picturesque and it's so popular. We also climbed a volcano crater. That volcano had erupted just a few years ago, so it was so thrilling, so exciting. And also like Iceland is so beautiful. Some of the amazing movies have been shot here, like Game of Thrones as a series and Interstellar. Some of my favorite things have been shot here. It is also called the land of ice and fire, and clearly so because it's so cold and so warm at the same time. Like the weather changes in 5 seconds. Sometimes it's windy and cold, sometimes it's rainy, sometimes it's hot and sunny. So there's like volcanoes and thermal lagoons in one place, and then there are like mountains and waterfalls and glaciers on the other hand. I've never seen a land where everything is there in one place. So Snæfellsnes Peninsula, highly recommend. I think you can do it as a one-day trip right from the capital and you can cover a lot of places. Basically when we were driving around, we were just like on the edge of Iceland. All we could see on some part of the trip was just like ocean all across the Atlantic Ocean. Right after there was Greenland. So basically we came as close to Greenland as possible while we were driving through this peninsula. So that was quite cool. The third thing, which was my favorite thing, was the glacier hiking in the Vatnajökull glacier. So I'll put the name here because the way you spell it and pronounce it is completely different, and I've had a couple of locals correct me, so that's why I'm passing on this knowledge to you guys. We booked a glacier hiking tour in the Vatnajökull glacier because it's beautiful, and it was like a whole deal. Like I've done a lot of hikes across the Himalayas, like 10 days, 15 days hikes all across Himalayas, Nilgiris and all across the world, but I've never done a hike on a glacier where they give you like ice cramps, which means these are shoes with spikes so that you can walk on ice easily. So we were able to walk on ice no problem, we were able to walk on glaciers no problem, and we were also given a helmet and an axe, so which my family made fun of and told us that we were looking like Bob the Builder. It was so fun. Our instructor Martina was super cool as well. She made us like look through inside a glacier as well, and it was so thrilling and so fun, and I always wanted to go inside a glacier cave, but unfortunately during the summertime they were all like filled with water, so it was unsafe. But that is one of the things I want to do when I go back next. So if you have a chance to do glacier hiking, I highly recommend, and it was not that tough as well. I think it was beginner friendly, so anyone can do it, and it was super pretty. Like the ice was like blue colored and it was like you have entered Frozen movie and you just want to sing Let It Go all over again. So it was so cool. The fourth thing that was unexpected and straight straight out of the National Geographic documentary was the Jökullsá Glacier Lake. So it's basically a lake where icebergs have floated down from the Vatnajökull glacier to this lake, and all around it you see like icebergs. It's like a scene right from Titanic or right from like Nat Geo documentary. I mean, we have photos and videos, but they could not do justice. It was so surreal. I tried to touch the ice, I tried to eat the ice, I did all of those stupid things that you do as a kid. I threw like pebbles into the water because it was just so cool. Like, I still cannot believe I saw that place. And there were like flocks of birds flying all across it, like big birds. I don't even know what those are called. And we also saw seals lying on the glaciers and penguins. If you get a chance to visit this glacier, you have to drive all across the south. The Vatnajökull glacier is basically the largest glacier in Europe, which covers 8% of Iceland, and it is the third largest glacier in the world, clearly after Antarctica and Greenland. So like those two are like a whole other thing, barely accessible, but this is the best glacier that you can see, which is highly accessible and beautiful. So I do recommend the road trip right from the capital across to the south where this glacier is. Then we saw tons of waterfalls across the road trip. The biggest one was the Skogafoss waterfall. It was so big you have to hike up to it, and then there's a park beyond it as well, so you can walk around. But it was so cold and it was so windy, and we also got wet while climbing the waterfall. And I think that is one of the reasons we both got sick, because like we got wet. It was quite cold as well, even in summer. While there are a lot of waterfalls, every waterfall I believe is unique. You can just see from the outside and it's beautiful. Some you can even walk inside caves and see the waterfall falling all on you. As I said, unlike anything I've ever seen or done before. The sixth thing is the Blue Lagoon, which is, I believe, the most popular thing about Iceland. You see these blue waters. So we did have a 5-hour retreat package and not the normal one, because you know we both love spa, and so we were like, okay, let's do something unique. I believe it was a bit of a private area, and then they give you like drinks and food and whatever. They also have like rituals, so you can apply a lot of stuff on your face, even the body as well. You are in your swimming suits. You can do a lot of activities inside as well. There's sauna, there's steam room, there's ice plunges, which, you know, my family always makes fun of me that, Rudha, you always feel cold, you can never do anything in the cold weather. But I was like, I need to prove them wrong, but more than that, I need to tell myself that I can do it. So I did do an ice cold plunge as well in the cold weather. I told myself, all right, I'm going to do it for 3 seconds and that's it. But I did it for 10 seconds. I love when I'm able to get over a fear and challenge myself. What the locals call it is the hot and cold therapy, which means you sit in the steam room for 5 minutes, and so you're super hot anyway, so you're burning. Okay, I need to do something cold now. So that's what motivated the ice cold plunge. It is beautiful. They didn't allow us to take a lot of pictures, but I do have a couple which the staff takes and then sends it to you later, just to maintain the privacy of the guests. So these are my 6 favorite places in Iceland. We'll also put photos and itinerary over here and names over here, so it's easy for you guys to jot it down. Also, if you like the video up until now, hit the like button, smash the subscribe button. Moving on, there are some of the weirdest things I found about Iceland, and they are not negative, they are just weird, meaning something that I didn't expect. So Iceland is fully automated, meaning the hotel check-ins don't even check your IDs. It's fully automated. They send you your like building logs and apartment logs in advance, so no one is coming to check in. The parking is automated. The petrol pumps are automated. They even have drone deliveries for food in one of the apps we saw for groceries and food. So like that's crazy. I feel like I was looking right into the future. There were like Tesla charging stations as well, so we saw a lot of Teslas running around. So it was pretty cool to see. Then the people were the nicest and kindest. We had a chance to chat a lot with locals and taxi drivers and stuff. I asked them all the weirdest questions, like how do you manage 20-hour daylight in summer, and how do you manage 20-hour nighttime in winter, because Iceland has like completely different weather than what we normally experience over on this side of the world. You know what? They love it. They enjoy it. When it gets too cold, they go over to warmer countries like Spain or Canary Islands to vacation. That is their vacation. In summer, it's also quite nice because it's 20 hours. So when I came back, the weird thing was I was not used to darkness at all. So we landed to the airport at 2 a.m. It was like twilight, so it was not even fully dark. In summers in Iceland, there's no darkness. 20 hours of sun, and then 3 hours the sun is set, but it's twilight, it's not really dark. So when I came back to Singapore, I was like, what is this darkness? Because my body was like, okay, I'm not used to this. And then the time zone and the jet lag is crazy because it's 8 hours behind than Singapore. So it's like night and day difference. So the first 3 days over there, I was sleeping at 6 p.m. and then I got used to that time zone in the 3 days. And then now I'm having jet lag now that I'm back. It's worth it, to be very honest. I'm vegetarian, so vegetarian options were easy to find. I ate lots of croissants, lots of pastries, brownies, pizza, pasta. And then we also found a couple of Indian restaurants in the capital as well, so that was nice. Had lots of hot chocolates and Swiss mochas as well. In the road trip, when you're traveling around, I love stopping by cafes and checking out their unique menu and see what they offer, and also try some local pastries and stuff on the way. I think road tripping is the best. I highly recommend it, and it's quite cheap as well if you compare it to taxis. Now I did see a lot of people doing bus tours where they like book these tours and the bus takes them everywhere. I mean, you can do it if you are not driving or you don't want to drive. However, I do feel like it takes away that flexibility from you. Like, you can decide when to stop, where to stop, how much to stop, where to eat, and all of that, because I didn't want our vacation, when we both worked so hard, to feel like a schedule that we needed to keep up with. And how I decide on itineraries is I like to keep one day fully booked and then the next chill. You don't need to book these whale watching tours and glacier hiking and the Blue Lagoon in advance, because they do tend to get booked up. While you do that, you can also keep like alternate days chill, just for serendipity to happen, so that you can do things whenever you feel like it. Things I want to do next time when I go back. So Northern Lights obviously are so beautiful, but they are not to be seen in summer, so we want to go back in winter to see them. I want to do like glacial caves, because I want to see how it is inside a glacial cave, because I've heard they are beautiful. I want to do a helicopter ride, which we were gonna do this time across the Vatnajökull glacier, but the weather was so bad the day when we were free, so it just wasn't possible. And then some people doing like horse riding. So the best part about the road trip is you pass across these sleepy small villages, and it's so romantic. You feel like it's just unlike anything you have experienced. So doing horse riding and ATV rides over there is what I want to also do next time. As you can see, like, we were there for 7 days, but also like 2 days were travel time, because it's like 20 hours away from here. And then when we came back, the airport staff lost my check-in bag. It's been 5 days and I still am without my clothes, my makeup, my hair dryer, all of it. And it has never happened to me before where luggage got lost in all of my travels. But well, now I have a story to tell. Alright, you guys, let me know below in the comments if this video was helpful. If you have any other questions about Iceland, let me know. I love traveling, and this trip I was like 10 days off social media. As a CEO, as a founder, if you want to know like what it is like to be completely detached from your business and let your team handle everything else, so that sales are coming in, leads are coming in, and clients are taken care of, I'm gonna do a video next week about this. So let me know what you want to know from me. Alright, this is Ruta. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.